The world once believed Antarctica was untouchable, a silent kingdom of ice, locked away from time, immune to chaos, a place where nothing moved, nothing melted, nothing failed. That belief is now shattering. Just like the ice itself, what is happening at the bottom of the Earth is no longer slow, distant, or theoretical. It is happening now. It is violent in its own quiet way, and it is powerful enough to redraw the future of the entire planet. Antarctica is not sleeping. Antarctica is breaking, not tomorrow, not by the end of the century. Right now, this very moment, beneath kilometers of ancient ice, the continent is cracking, sliding, melting, and collapsing faster than science ever predicted. Glaciers the size of nations are losing their grip on the land. Ice shelves thicker than skyscrapers are splintering like fragile glass. Temperatures are surging where cold once ruled absolutely. And the consequences of this collapse will not stay confined to the white continent. This is no longer a frozen wilderness. This is the epicenter of a planetary chain reaction. For generations, Antarctica represented permanence. Ice that fell before human history began, compressed layer by layer over hundreds of thousands of years, preserving a record of Earth's past. That ancient ice is now destabilizing in the span of a single human lifetime. In regions where temperatures once never climbed above brutal extremes, heat waves have arrived like intruders. Sudden, shocking surges, 30, even 40 degrees Celsius above normal, have slammed into parts of the continent. Snow that should have remained frozen for millennia turned heavy and wet. Ice softened. Meltwater raced across the surface, carving rivers where no liquid water should exist at all. This is not natural fluctuation. This is an alarm. Along Antarctica's vast coastlines, the most dangerous transformation is unfolding. Massive ice shelves, floating walls of ice that act as gates, holding back the glaciers behind them, are weakening. These shelves are not just ice, they are barriers. And when they fail, the glaciers they restrain surge forward with terrifying speed. The world witnessed this in 2002, when the Larsen B ice shelf collapsed. In a matter of weeks, a structure that had existed for thousands of years disintegrated into the ocean. Scientists watched helplessly as glaciers behind it accelerated almost instantly, dumping ice into the sea at rates never seen before. What was expected to take centuries happened in days. That was not an exception. It was a preview. Today, even larger ice shelves are showing the same warning signs. Fractures spreading, thinning from below, structural integrity failing. And looming above all of them is Thwaites Glacier, the Doomsday Glacier. This single glacier holds enough ice to raise global sea levels by more than half a meter on its own. But its true danger lies in what it protects. Thwaites is a keystone. If it collapses, much of West Antarctica could unravel unleashing ice capable of raising sea levels by several meters. Entire coastlines would be rewritten. Entire cities would be flooded. Thwaites is already being attacked from below. Warm ocean water is slipping beneath it, melting its base silently and relentlessly. Satellite images reveal fractures spreading across its surface, cracks kilometers long, growing wider, deeper, more unstable with each passing year. The glacier is losing its grip on the bedrock that once anchored it. This is not gentle melting, this is mechanical failure. Hidden beneath Antarctica's ice lies a dangerous truth. Much of the ice sheet rests on bedrock that sits below sea level. Once ocean water intrudes, retreat feeds on itself. The deeper the ice pulls back, the more warm water floods in. The more warm water arrives, the faster the ice collapses. Scientists call this marine ice sheet instability, but there is nothing stable about it. Once triggered, it cannot be stopped on human timescales. Antarctica holds nearly 60% of the world's fresh water. If even a fraction of that ice enters the ocean, the planet will not recognize its own coastlines. Low-lying cities will drown. Island nations will vanish from maps. Tens of millions of people will be forced to flee their homes, and still, that is only the beginning. As Antarctic ice melts, it releases colossal volumes of fresh water into the Southern Ocean. This disrupts the great ocean currents that regulate Earth's climate, the invisible systems that move heat around the globe. When these currents weaken or shift, the weather everywhere becomes more violent. Storms intensify, rainfall becomes extreme, droughts deepen, Heat waves scorch, cold snaps strike without warning. Antarctica is not isolated. It is a control panel for the planet, and that control panel is malfunctioning. The winds circling Antarctica are changing too. The powerful westerlies are shifting closer to the continent and growing stronger, altering sea ice formation and ocean circulation. These shifts echo far beyond the polar south, influencing weather across South America, Africa, Australia, and beyond. Sea ice, once thought to be more resilient here than in the Arctic, has begun to collapse in record-breaking ways. Antarctic sea ice extent has plunged to historic lows, exposing dark ocean waters that absorb more heat, accelerating warming in a brutal feedback loop. The ice retreats, the ocean warms, the retreat accelerates. Wildlife is already caught in the collapse. Emperor penguins, icons of endurance, are losing the stable ice platforms they need to breed. Ice now forms later and breaks apart earlier. Entire colonies have watched their chicks disappear into freezing water when the ice beneath them failed. Krill, the tiny organisms that anchor the Antarctic food web, are vanishing as sea ice algae declines. And when krill suffer, everything above them suffers too. Whales, seals, seabirds, entire ecosystems trembling at the base. This is not environmental damage. This is biological unraveling. Human presence has reached Antarctica as well. Research stations, growing tourism, ships navigating waters once sealed by ice. Though small compared to global industrial forces, they add stress to a system already stretched beyond its limits. But the primary cause of this chaos is unmistakable. Heat, human-generated heat. Carbon dioxide released continents away traps energy across the planet. The oceans absorb much of it, and Antarctica, surrounded by water, is feeling the consequences. Even tiny temperature increases matter when ice exists on the edge of melting. What makes Antarctica terrifying is not just what is happening, but when. Ice sheets respond slowly. But once thresholds are crossed, collapse becomes inevitable. Scientists warn that even if emissions stop today, meters of sea level rise may already be locked in. The damage we are witnessing now began decades ago. Ice cores drilled from Antarctica reveal Earth's climate memory. They show that when carbon dioxide rose in the past, ice retreated and seas surged. Coastlines disappeared. The planet transformed. The difference now is speed. Never in Earth's history has warming happened this fast. Never has Antarctica been pushed this hard, this suddenly, and never has humanity been so vulnerable to the consequences. The chaos unfolding in Antarctica is quiet. There are no sirens, no collapsing buildings on live television, no screaming crowds, just ice cracking in silence, glaciers accelerating unseen, ocean currents shifting in darkness. But silence does not mean safety. Every fracture spreading across an ice shelf is a warning written in ice. Every glacier sliding faster toward the sea is a countdown. Every shattered temperature record is a signal screaming from the coldest place on Earth. Antarctica is speaking. It is telling us that the systems which stabilized our world for thousands of years are being pushed past their breaking point. The continent that once symbolized permanence now represents fragility on a planetary scale. This is not distant science. This is not speculation. This is reality, unfolding now beneath satellites, beneath research stations, beneath the world's attention. What happens in Antarctica will decide the future of coastlines, ecosystems, economies, and civilizations. The chaos has already begun, and the ice does not negotiate.